Today we're going to be talking about managing your preferred networks. Let's start off with definition. SSID, Service Set Identifier, is the Wi-Fi name that you see broadcast, or it may not be broadcast. Wi-Fi connections are made by SSID, security type, and security key. That's important because this stops your computer from connecting to an unsecure Wi-Fi that has the same name as your secured Wi-Fi. Your computer, tablet, smartphone, Chromebook, they all save a list of preferred Wi-Fi network names. This list is built from the Wi-Fi networks that you have been connected to. Your device will automatically connect to a preferred network when it is in range, even if it is not broadcasting an SSID. If you have a choice, do not auto-connect to unsecured Wi-Fi. On Android tablets and phones, and on iOS iPads and iPhones, all Wi-Fi connections are auto-connected. You don't have a choice. On Windows Vista or 7 machines, make sure to set your connection as public. Windows 10 Wi-Fi settings are automatically turned to public. Actively manage your preferred networks. And that's what we're going to show you next, is how to manage your preferred networks on an Android, an iOS device, and then Windows 7 and Windows 10. On an Android, you get into your settings however you get into the settings on your device. And at the very top, at the very top of your list, there'll be Wi-Fi up here. If you have a Android that has tabs along the top like a Samsung, you'd have to click the connections tab to make sure that you're looking at connections. Then you tap Wi-Fi, and you'll see the very top one is the Wi-Fi that you're connected to. If you're connected, there might be some more that say saved. All these that have the fan next to them, though, are in range. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see the ones that are not in range. And if you click on them, you can forget them, whether they're in range or not. I'm not going to forget this one. Well, I'm going to forget this one right now. I don't want that. And the one you're connected to, if you wanted to drop your connection, you just tap it and then hit forget. I don't want to do that one because that one has a password and it's secured, and I don't want to. You can see the kind of security that they're offering. WEP, okay. What do we know about WEP? WEP is weak. And probably they're stuck with WEP because they couldn't figure out how to get their device to reconnect with WPA. Oh, too sensitive. Anyway, that's how you would disconnect from a network on an Android. On an iPhone or an iPad, then you go to settings, and then up at the top of the list will be Wi-Fi, and you click that, and it will show you the one you're connected to with the check mark next to it, and it will show you the ones that are in range. And if I wanted to get rid of this one, I would just say forget this network, and it would no longer automatically connect up to this network. Now, unlike the Android, this one doesn't show you anything that's out of range. It will not let you individually delete unsecure Wi-Fis that you are out of range of. In order to do that, it's an all or nothing proposition, so you pick general, and you go down to where it says reset, bottom, and then you reset network settings, and it will reset all the network settings. It will drop everything that you have a password saved for. So it's not as convenient on an Apple as it is on an Android. Here we are on a Windows 7 machine, and we have our little familiar Wi-Fi connections. Let me just come up here and pop this open. You can see a bunch of networks here, pretty strong. You see these ones down here, they have a little exclamation point, and that's because they it's open, it's unlocked. And they use an exclamation point with a shield to kind of remind you that it's an unsecured Wi-Fi and it's not really safe. If I clicked on one of these to connect, you see how the connect automatically is unchecked? That's because this is the safe way to do it. You should always connect up to your unsecured Wi-Fi manually. On another one here, I've never connected to Vero Network, but you can see that the mark is checked because when you put in a password, they want to save it for you and manage that network for you. And then here, look at, there's no square on this one. That's because this is one of my preferred networks. Let me just connect to show you what that looks like. And now, you might think that right-clicking and disconnect, you might realize that it still is in my preferred ones. To remove it from a preferred network, you got to open the Network and Sharing Center, come into the Open Network and Sharing Center, and then you can manage the networks. Let me connect just again so they can see that. Some Yahoo walked in and pressed the WPS to connect, and all of the computers that were connected to the Wi-Fi at that moment all became a managed Wi-Fi in their list. And because people didn't know how to remove them, they couldn't connect back up to Royal Oak until the SSID was changed. They could have easily have done it if they had jumped in here and removed it, but they couldn't. So if I want to remove that, I just right-click and remove network. I could also, if I had several here that I wanted to connect to, I can move it down, and that would become the secondary network. Move it up, and that becomes my most preferred network, and that is my network. We are on Windows 10. As you can see, the disconnected icon is different. Oops, let me go up here. I'm going to click on that, and we'll see what networks are available. I have not auto-connected to Xfinity yet. Xfinity is at the top. It's at the top because my managed networks rise above my unmanaged networks. Is Xfinity, why is it at the top when you saw in my last video that 6447 is my home network? Well, the reason is I was over at the Pine Arbor Clubhouse and I connected to Xfinity. I did not auto connect, but it went into my managed networks anyway, so it's going to always pop up at the top. I don't like that. I'm going to get rid of that. You can see we've got lots of networks available here. I'm kind of hidden. And speaking of hidden, here's a hidden network. This is one that's not broadcasting at SID. Sometimes that will show up as other network, and on Windows it shows up as a hidden network. We're going to look at the network settings next. And we're coming in this way. Last time we went into Network Sharing Center, but that's not where we're going on this one. This is a completely different window. Networks Sharing Center is still there, but it's pretty much been neutered. Most of the things you can't get to. Okay, so these are the ones again that are showing that have a that can be seen. They're not one that are managed. I'm going to go to my managed Wi-Fi settings. And one of the first things I'm going to do is I don't want to connect to open hotspots automatically. If the rest of the world's jumping off a cliff, why should I? And the other thing is I don't want to connect to networks shared by my contacts. My contacts haven't got a clue as to what a safe network is. I don't want to go where they've gone. I also don't want to go into paid Wi-Fi services. I'm cheap. And I want to get rid of this. And as you can see, there's no up and down like there used to be. I'm going to just click on it, regular click, not a right click, and forget it. And it will no longer be at the top of my list. If I click over here, and voila, Xfinity is no longer at the top. It's down, way down at the bottom someplace, because it's not connected. And you might be wondering why I don't connect automatically to my own home network. The reason is I usually wire in because the Wi-Fi is incredibly slow here. I've got some Yahoo down the block who's on channel 2, who's on channel 3, who's on channel 4, who's on channel 5, so as you know, you're only supposed to have somebody on channel, or you're only supposed to have your internet set to channel 1, 6, or 11, but somebody thought it was a really good idea to move everybody to a different channel so that they wouldn't be on channel 1. Totally wrong, totally backwards, totally awful, and it slows down the internet crazily here. Even if you are wired in, you'll be able to see your list of connections through this. Let me just go over and type in network sharing. And here we are. You can see that my main one is still set to public. All Wi-Fi connections are set to public automatically. I don't know how to set them to private yet. Sorry. Ethernet, it doesn't work the same as Ethernet. You can still change Ethernet to public pretty easily. You see that almost all of the options that used to be here are gone, but some of them are still here. If you need to change your internet options and you can't get in any other way, or the Windows firewall settings. But for the most part, this screen has been very neutered. A lot of the stuff isn't in the modern settings, so you still need this. So that's Windows 10 in a nutshell.